So today I have some pretty ambitious projects planned. I want to pretty much automate some of the natural resources that are around us, such as sand, gravel, cobblestone, all of that fun stuff, right? Even glass and potentially silicone. But it is going to take a lot of crafting to get there. And what mod am I planning on using for all of this? Well, none other than industrial foregoing. And that is going to be done with a material stonework factory. However, this stuff is not the cheapest. To make the material stonework factory, which is an incredibly powerful machine, mind you, it is going to require a bit of pink slime, right? I'm going to have to go through all of these advanced machine frames, crafting all of those, crafting the simple machine frames first, and so on and so forth. So, I have a plan. How about we automate the production of those materials utilizing refined storage? I think this would be a perfect time to make this process so much easier simply by just having these resources available and automating them. Now, to get this set up and so that way we have a ton of it, I'm going to be using this right here. So I do have a fluid storage card that is that we made a long time ago for refined storage, but I should be able to hook up an external storage to this, and we should be able to set this to fluids, right? And so with this set to fluids, I also want to make sure this has a higher priority or lower priority. So that way the fluids go into the tank first, or tries to, before going into the internal buffer. So this should allow me to pull fluids out of this tank and actually use refined storage as a fluid piping mod. And this is going to be very, very handy when we craft recipes that specifically require certain items and fluids all together. Now, to automate this, I'm going to have my dissolution chamber here, and hopefully I can just utilize a single dissolution chamber. That'd be pretty nice. I'm also going to need a crafter that is potentially going, I guess I can have it going to the top, and then the bottom we can have our outputs, because we are going to have to pull our outputs from here. So with all this, we definitely need the wrench. Rotate this bad boy till it is facing down. Perfect. Now the cabling is going to go all in the back. I basically copied this whole setup here and pasted it with the copy paste tool. If you're unfamiliar with how that works, it is the Direwolf gadgets. So copy paste gadget right here. Pretty useful piece of tool. So long as you have the materials, you can copy a selection just like with World Edit and literally just paste it in. It's so good. So I used it for that area, this area over here, and then filled the rest in. But in the back, I'm going to need my refined storage cable to hook into this. What should happen is the crafter should push the fluids and items into this in the exact amounts, only once per craft, which we shouldn't have to lock the inputs or anything. It should just work. And then the outputs are going to come down here, and we are going to use a refined storage importer to import the items into our system. I think all of this is going to work out quite well. I also almost forgot, I am going to need another external storage on the bottom of this latex tank, whereas latex is constantly being generated as well. And of course, the priority will negative the priority, and we will set this to fluids. And this should be good. By the way, you can also set extract on and off. I'm going to have it able to insert and export, but it should be fine. All we got to do is just get this all hooked up to our mess of cables, and we'll have some automation very soon. Now that I have all of this set up, this should be the fun part. We should just be able to create our patterns. So for the industrial foregoing, I kind of want a pattern for this right here. Now I'm going to have to, of course, make sure I have all of these ingredients, but the pity machine frame should be the first thing on our list of regular crafts. We can go ahead and throw all of that in. So pity machine frame, this is a regular craft, so that'll go here. And then we need this right here, a gold gear. Make sure we have a craft for that, because it will pull the crafts for those items as we go through this. I think diamond gear is another one that we're going to have make sure we have a craft for. So there's that. And everything else should be fine. So pity machine frame, it will throw all of these items in. Nether bricks might be the only thing that we'll have to set up a smelting operation for. But if I go ahead and hit this button, it's going to automatically know how much latex is needed for the craft to happen. And all the other ingredients are listed here. So when we create this pattern, we should be able to put it in here. And this thing should feed the fluid and the crafting ingredients into this slot. So long as we know all of the slots are accessible, it should be able to push the fluids in there. So to test this, all we have to do is just start the craft. Let's get over here and actually test this out. So with industrial, this is our simple machine frame. I only want one. We'll start the craft. And I should see all the items went in, including the fluid. And look at that. It is actually doing the craft right here for us. Now it is slow. Let's put all of our speed upgrades in here for it. And then that item gets pulled right out and goes into here. And of course, same thing goes for the next tier. Same thing goes. Except we're probably going to have to set up a couple more patterns in order for this to process. Of course, the next set of things is going to be netherite scrap. And of course, the only way to get that is we need a smelting recipe. And other than that, I think that's just about it. Of course, it needs the prior and pink slime in this case. But it should be able to pull that because we have pink slime hooked in that is connected up there. So in reality, super simple. And it will use the same machine for this same process. Oh, this just made this whole process with Industrial 4 going pretty trivial. Now, there is one other thing that definitely needs automated, and it's also this, which requires some water. And I don't have water hooked into this, so I'm going to need another tank. I could potentially just use this one. Yeah, I'll probably just use this one. This will be infinite water anyways, so I'll just have this, another external storage, hooked to our infinite water tank, which is right next door. And yeah, then we can make the other craft, which is only going to be used for this like one craft though. By the way, the functional storage or the storage drawers mod soon will have functioning fluid tanks added to the mod. I can't wait for that. I would have used that for this situation had it been available at the time, but I've been seeing it on Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, you can follow me over there at ChosenArchitect. But yeah, over on Twitter, I've been keeping up with that. It's pretty awesome seeing some of the new mod changes that are going to be coming. But yeah, one of them is fluid storage drawers, which is just getting added to this. Oh, it's going to be so useful. Actually, oddly enough, I don't think this is using water. I think this is producing water in the craft. As you can see, this is a byproduct. Now to get rid of this, I'll just shift right click. Such an odd thing that it is doing though. But I will need this. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. And I guess the water will just end up trashing it. Yeah, at some point. I thought it needed it. It's good to have it hooked up to our system. By the way, speaking of system, if you're wanting to see the fluids, I believe you just changed the display. Or is there a fluid mode? There is a way. Oh, actually, no, it's a completely different grid, right? It's a fluid grid. Which I think our wireless grid right here has a fluid mode. And there we go. We can use this to see the total fluid built up. So now that I have the stonework factories all ready to be crafted up, I think I'm going to make 4 of them. It seems a little odd to make 4 of them. Oh, I wonder if this actually deep slate. I don't actually know if that's going to work. But 4 of them, right? Let's do regular combo. It's like defaulting to the deep slate version, which is a pretty cool one from Quark, by the way. The furnaces look pretty sick from that. Let's go ahead and get 4 of these. And one of them is going to be a little bit different than the other. As you can see, I kind of want to make diorite. So we're going to be producing gravel, sand, and glass. Those are all things that I use a ton of. And you may be wondering, well, why diorite and why is it the odd one out? All of these are free to make. So this doesn't cost any lava or water really to make. You just put the lava and water in, it just generates. However, diorite, on the other hand, it is going to cost me a little bit of lava and a little bit of water every time it is produced. Thankfully, we have those available, so that's not going to be that big of a deal. But why do I want diorite? Well, diorite can be crushed down into quartz. So we can actually produce quartz in this manner. So I was taking a look at different methods. Of course, we can also do soul sand. That can also generate a bunch of quartz. But I was like, this seems like a pretty easy way of generating quartz is just by breaking down this material. Now, all of these should be fairly simple to set up. I'm going to break the walls right here, and I'm going to be using compacting drawers to get all of these set up. So compacting drawer here, this will be like our sand, or sorry, our gravel, sand, and glass. I think that'll be perfect. All the machines can go right here. And all they need is power in the back, and then we'll set up the configuration. Now over here, a little bit different, as I am going to need fluids going into this. Specifically, one's going to be water. One is going to be from a tank, a lava tank. And I might be able to facade this. I don't know if I can facade or hide this tank though. But we'll set this here. And then I'll also have a compacting here for the diorite. So all of these will be connected to our central storage network, but they're going to be on their own sort of grid, which I kind of want to keep for large quantities of items. And that is going to be hooked right to this storage controller. So I'm going to have the storage controller sort of hidden off, and this is all going to be connected to a external storage on the bottom of this. So that should be pretty awesome. We'll have an external storage. I do need to make sure this is prioritized later. Right now, nothing's hooked to it, but we'll set up the prioritizing later. It's not going to be that big of a deal at the moment. To link all of them up, though, all I got to do is click here and then make sure to select the drawers, and we should be good there. Like I said, I'm going to remove this for right now until we get all of the items going in, and then I can lock the drawers, right? So now to configure these, it's a little weird. Let's go ahead and get power in the back, and then we'll set the interiors up. So I have almost everything ready to go. I was looking here and I did encounter this problem. I'm sure you're going to encounter it as well. If you notice that your fluids are not showing up in the fluid grid after you've placed down your external storage or what have you, I recommend checking your fluid types. If this is set to items, it will not show up. It has to be set to fluids in order for you to see it. And so that was a problem I was having, but I think I have everything ready to go now. And so we should be able to get this all hooked up. Now, first things first, let's start this one off. This is going to be gravel that we're going to be introducing. And right here is where you change the type of material you're going to be generating. For me, cobblestone is where I want to be, because you can see right here it consumes 0 water, 0 lava, but we do have to input the lava and the water first to get it generating. Now, by default, as you can see, it generates that, and we have smelting and all these actions. It's going to just continue to smelt. I want it to actually crush. So this process here is now going to do this, then turn to gravel, and then it's going to smelt the gravel, but we don't want it to do that. We do not want it to do that. So we're going to cancel these actions right here. So we shouldn't continue to see any more actions taking place. Should just produce gravel, and that is it. So I'm going to take the inventory that is selected for gravel, and we're going to push the gravel up into the inventory above. And so we, I believe, have to place this in first. And now once it's placed in, you can see that it is now filling this up, and we should end up with quite a bit of gravel over time. It's just going to generate over time, and speed and processing upgrades similar to the ones here that we can automate now that we have this set up. These processes will speed this up tremendously as well. Now for sand, the process looks like this, as you can see right here. And then moving forward onto glass, the process is going to be like this. We need sand, and then we need to smelt. And so this slot will end up with glass. And all of this is just going to be generated. Now this one is going to be a little bit different. So let's get diorite set up, because this is the most complicated, I think. Now, all of these actions I want completely canceled out. So we just want to generate diorite on its own. It's just going to be a cobble generator, and we'll set that to diorite. And you can see it's going to use a little bit of water and a little bit of lava each process. And that's exactly what we want to have set. Now, where we're getting the lava is going to be determined by where we put our machine. So right here, I'm going to have this pool, and this should, hopefully, once we have power, which we actually do have power, this should pull the lava down here. So we have that set. It should pull from the inner tank. If it's not going to pull from the inner tank directly, we may have to change this up a little bit. But over here, we should have this set to pull the water. It should automatically put the water in. But we switch this to fluid modes and we put the water in, and there you see the water has now gone in. The lava hasn't filled up though, so I might have to use some sort of pipe to get the lava flowing in. Unfortunately, it seems like the ender tanks are just a little finicky when it comes to that. So I will go ahead and do this, and now that should now fill with lava. And as you can see, we're generating diorite. Same goes for this. We'll just make sure this is set to push up. And then we of course have to have the material first inside here before it will automatically start pushing to it. But there we go. That's set. And then same for these. I just need to provide the initial lava and water. And then that should start generating. And same for the last one. Just the initial water and lava. And there we go. We technically have automation for all of these basic materials. But we have encountered a little bit of a problem, right? And that is power. So we are definitely going to need to ramp up our power production. And the way I'm probably going to do that for right now is to just add more dynamos. I think at the moment we're literally just going to need a couple of fully upgraded dynamos, and that's it to supply all of the demand here. Actually, I think I fixed the power issue without even upgrading the power. All I had to do was put a power upgrade back here. So I have a basic on here, and that seems to be doing the job. Yeah, that's keeping enough power, at least without it being upgraded anyways. But one last thing I got to do is lock the drawers. So make sure that you have your configuration tool in locking mode, and we should be good. I think everything's hooked up. And gravel, we should now see gravel increasing, and we should see sand increasing. I know sand is being used at the moment, so this will probably completely disappear. Yeah, because it's being used for crafts. But once we get this upgraded, things should start flowing a bit faster. You know what? Actually, instead of doing it this way, where I have this just pouring directly into this, creating diorite, which I don't really want, we should probably have this go directly into a pulverizer, and then have the pulverizer back here changed a little bit. I know I just broke my exporters and everything. So yeah, let's see. Water. I think we can set this to fluids. Can I drag water in? There we go. We can. So yeah, this is back in order. I think that's going to be a much better option, actually. Apparently this does not break trapdoors. So yeah, so we'll just get the pipes ran through the back. I just need one to power this. So this should power everything. And then up here, instead of this drawer being what it was, we can pull out all of this, because for some reason this was like stopping and wasn't directly putting the items in. I think this is going to work a lot better. So let's pop this open. I think I ended up throwing all of my configuration tools over here because I need to unlock this, allowing me to pull all the items out. And what should happen is when we put this in here, this is going to pulverize down directly into the quartz that I need. And so the reason I need quartz is because it's just used for so much. So as you can see, there's quartz dust. Apparently it's giving cobblestone. This actually might be kind of an issue here. You know what? I think my drawer method may be broken. This whole system that I was thinking about doing, it's not going to work because for some reason, once this hits 64, it stops putting the items in. Maybe unless we have an item pipe. So I know this is not an elegant solution to this. I have no idea why it won't automatically put the items in after it receives a stack, but so long as I'm doing it this way, it does work. So it's only pulling the gravel, of course, because that's the only thing it can pull. So I don't have to worry about filtering. Same thing is being done over here. But what I'm thinking about doing now is taking the pulverizer and placing it here. Because it generates that quartz, I can actually have that turned into direct quartz via a crystallizer. And the crystallizer will take that dust and turn it directly into nether quartz, which would be fantastic. Plus, we'd also have a buildup of this as well, because this is not going to last forever. So I'll have this automatically pull from this side and deposit to the bottom. Now this needs water, which we are going to just provide with the exporter down here. And so this should accept the dust, just the dust. Everything else, I'm probably going to just filter this directly. I'm going to filter it out into a trash can. Yeah, that's probably going to be the best solution to that. So setting up the pipe back here, I should be able to just directly apply this and make sure the top is an output for the cobble. We need to turn this, if I can reach, there we go. And then inside here, we're going to add a filter. So the filter is going to be for cobble. We'll submit. And I think this is set to whitelist. So we shouldn't see anything else going in here. We have 17. I'm hoping it's not voiding everything. We'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty sure it's on whitelist by default. The best way to test this would be a chest with that. And we should only see cobblestone going into this. That's kind of the hard part about the trash cans, is being able to actually see what's going there. And you know what? We could just have this directly output to another compacting drawer, and this one would just contain an infinite amount of cobblestone. So I'll definitely be sure to add this and this to our compacting drawer. And then I definitely need to make sure to relock these things. So this needs to be locked and locked. And now this is incredibly slow. So without any augments on this thing is just tremendously slow. It doesn't use hardly any power, but this is not what I want. So this is going to have to be upgraded before long, because this is just so slow. But thankfully, we're actually getting cobble out of this as well. So this whole process, once sped up, I think will work wonders. It'll work wonders. So I was running into a problem where after I have max upgraded this, I've got this thing fully upgraded, just like our other machines. This is not fully upgraded. This says it's only using 80 RF per tick with the max upgrades in here, including the linkages, which I hope work in this machine because the book doesn't even cover the crystallizer, which is kind of odd. But I was having an issue with power loss until I changed this to power surge. Now, after I turn this to power surge, you're going to notice potentially this going down. Yeah, the number is starting to change, and it was just dropping for some reason. Once I hit power surge, it fixed the problem. It made this a lot more steady, because I have no idea why the power is all wonky, unless it's something to do with the cables here. Other than that, everything seems to be flowing nice and smooth. However, our quartz is building up right here, as this is producing more quartz than this one machine, even max upgraded, can keep up with. Now, eventually, I will probably swap this process over to the one and only Master Create. The crushing wheels will just do so much better and would be so much faster. But that will have to wait for a future episode, because today, well, today is the end of today's episode. Guys, I hope you enjoyed and learned something. Of course, if you did, click that subscribe button. And I think it's time to thank the supporter of today's video. And that beautiful thank you is going to go to Image or Image. Thank you so much for your amazing support, by the way, over on the Discord, becoming a Discord premium member and supporting this amazing community. Thank you guys so much. If you're interested in joining the Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect. And then also join me over on Twitch. It's literally twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. You'll find me there, live streaming some Vault Hunters as of right now, at the time of this recording. And of course, guys, I would love to see you over there. If you haven't subscribed already, click that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, comment something down below if you did enjoy, and I'll see you in the next episode. And as always, thanks for watching.